Okay, so the Comea Shelter has been in this community since 1983. And we originally were started by the churches who got together and wanted to meet a need. And so now, 30 plus years later, here we are, and the Comea Shelter has developed into more of a self-sufficiency housing program. We still serve people in emergency situations, and we do have emergency shelter beds. But the focus of our programs are to help people become self-sufficient. We really believe that it's easy to help someone maintain homelessness and to stay alive in homelessness, but that's really not what we want to do. We want them to get out of homelessness. And so that's really where our United Way dollars come from too, is they strongly support that emergency initial program, and then some of the dollars also go to our last program, which is our long-term transitional living. And so both of these programs have been highly successful in helping people get out of their homeless situation. We've been able to maintain for the last 7 years about an 80% success rate. So 20% of our people end up returning back to us for some reason or another. We find those people tend to more often be the chronic substance users, mental health concerns. It's funny, we have a gentleman who came back, he just showed up today. After 4 years he was here, and when I asked him why, he had problems in his marriage and he had to leave the home. So it's a temporary situation. He's not going to be homeless for very long. So we have a lot of those situations, and our United Way dollars are helpful in getting those folks into our programs. Whether he needs a new job or just a new place to live, then we can get him on his way and make room for another new person. So our current needs, our biggest need, of course, is that we would really love to have a new building. We find that we write grants to certain foundations that help with rehab and bricks and mortar, and every year we've got a building project. Not so much building, but rehab. We're replacing floors, we're replacing equipment. Things are just always needing to be replaced. And we're getting to the point now where we feel as though that money could be better used if we were in a new facility. We also are kind of bursting at the seams. We can't take on any more clients. We have filled every room that we could possibly fill with beds. So our long-term goal is to eventually get into a capital campaign and look for a new building. Our short-term goals, then along that rehab, I'm going to show you our women's dorm. The floor is atrocious. I think it's to the point where it's a safety hazard. People could trip. You can see the flooring is missing, so of course that captures germs. It's harder to clean. And so we're looking to put carpeting in that dorm so the women have just a safer and nicer looking area. We'd also like to finish off some of the sheetrock and paint, perhaps get matching comforters or bedding for the women so that that dorm just doesn't look so messy, and you'll know what I mean when you see the room. We also are finishing up a remodeling project in our men's bathroom, which should be wrapping up here pretty soon, and then going forward we're replacing flooring in the kitchen and living room. So those types of things are always happening. The other thing that we've started working on with the police department, you've probably seen the Change campaign going on. There's been some public service announcements and things like that. The purpose of the Change campaign is we've identified that so many people come to Cheyenne who don't really want to be here. They might be traveling through on one of the interstates and get stranded here for some reason, or they come here hearing that Cheyenne is a great place to live, only to find that they aren't able to find work, they can't find housing, whatever it is, and now they want to go back home but they can't afford it. And they're using up a lot of services, and that's a considerable amount of money. So with the help of the police department and a couple of other donors, we have a travel program. So if someone comes to us and says, I've been in Cheyenne for so many weeks and it's not working out for me, my family's back in Utah and I've talked to them, they're willing to help me, can you help me get back home? We will purchase a bus ticket for that person to go back to where they want to go. We don't just send them unknowing, because then we're just displacing another homeless person. But we do some follow-up and make sure that once they get there, they'll have resources that they need, and then we will purchase a bus ticket to help those folks get back to where they came from. And we have, in the last couple months, probably spent close to $1,000 just getting people out of the community. And I don't want that to sound negative. It's not that we're trying to just get rid of them, but these are people who've been struggling here, have been jumping from service to service, and really do have a support system back where they came from. And I've heard from several of them who have called or emailed or have Facebooked us and said, you know, thank you for getting me back home. This is the best decision I ever made. Life is good, yada, yada, yada. So we can always use support with that program. That money is not guaranteed. And so as we continue to spend it to send people where they need to be, we're depleting those funds. This is where the families go, and we just, sorry guys, we're just gonna do a little, we just rearranged and tried to create, but we don't have any kind of a DVD player or anything for the kids to watch movies. All of our movies were VHS tapes, and we had no VHS player, so we threw that out. So I'm not sure what they can actually, the TV isn't actually getting used, but it's just this very tiny area for the kids, and then the beds for the families. It would be nice if we could get some more area rugs for them, maybe some lamps, you know, when mom and dad want to, or mom puts the kids to bed, you either have all the lights off or all the lights on. So that's, you know, just ways to, maybe some, you know, maybe a couple rocking chairs, just something to make the family room seem a little more homey. And so they have this nice, beautiful bathroom, and then, but the sad part is we can house up to 20 women, and they all have to use this one tiny bathroom. Well, we had these in the women's dorms, but they're so heavy, the women can't lift them open.
All right, thank you. All right.
And so none of them would use them. So last week, we had the guys take these all apart and move them into the men's dorm and then put the wooden ones back in the women's dorm. And so we love these because bed bugs can't get in them, but they're $2,000 for a set of bunk beds. So we have kind of stopped buying these because we can't afford them, and we still have the wooden ones. Well, the wooden ones, bed bugs can crawl in the crevices and hibernate in there. So we have bed bug covers on all the mattresses, but it doesn't completely eliminate the problem. So at some point, we'd like to replace all the wooden beds with metal beds. So that's something that